these things are not. There's one weird one right here. This one is pretty flat, and we're gonna brush it, and I'm gonna spray it anyways. I think it'll be alright. So now the only thing we'll do is on the chip to make sure this is square. Because projectors do have distortion. So let's see, it's 44 vertical. It should be the same this way, but it's 42 and a half. And it looked a little too this way. It's 43. There's a little bit of a thing here, so I'm going to go ahead and just widen this by a little bit. Okay. Let's try that. So that's 43. Half an inch. 43. This way. And 43. Well, I got lucky. So we have to do it one time. So that's long enough. Almost. Yep. Little scientific Sherwin-Williams paint can mixer, or Home Depot, whatever that is. But it's lighter than the big aluminum one I have. And I don't want to fall off a box. So, since these are all straight, I want to try cutting it with the saw first, but I'm going to make a test cut off to the side to make sure it doesn't splinter too much, because if it starts pulling up a bunch of this plywood, then it's kind of shitty to sand it down, and it's not going to come out quite right. Goggles and ear protection. Let's try it. Nope. That's super clean, so there's nothing. They pulled up a little bit, but not too bad. And the plywood itself already isn't really flat as it is. It's one of those, I don't know what it's called, but so it should be okay. But it is Obsessed Garage, so we're gonna see what's the final verdict on that once it's done. We're gonna do this the right way and run it to the second table for support here. So I don't start cutting into that back table too much. There it is. I'm gonna check the width on this real quick, because this one is supposed to be cut. But I want to make sure that we're pretty square, and I'm going to take a measurement here and so forth, kind of ballpark it. And then the hard part will be, the only hard part about this whole thing will be cutting out that circle. And I can make a jig for it, and have a jigsaw that'll be on a string or some kind of wooden thing. I've seen it on YouTube's, but so far I've been cutting pretty good circles as it is, so we're just going to do it live and go from there. So I just took a quick measurement, so we got 37 dead over here, and we got 37, a little bit less than a quarter, and 37 and a quarter, and it's just under 37 and a half, so it's honestly close enough to where I'm not terribly worried about it, because the piece is so big when you hang it, the naked eye won't really see it. So we'll leave that alone. What we're gonna do is check right here as well. So this is 6 1/4 to the center of the. So right here we got 6 1/4 dead. So the visual part, this would be the noticeable bit, and that part is dead on. So I'm very happy with that. 6 1/2, almost 6 1/2. So right here, for some reason, this isn't even 6, and this is the part where it must have been the projector from the keystone, it just being angled off a little bit. So what I can do is try to mess with it and move it, but when I was looking on the wall with it, it looked pretty clean, so we're going to leave it alone, and then once I cut this whole thing out, I'll put it one way and the other way and figure out which way looks better, and it should be perfect. So, well, close enough to perfection at least. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll save that part. Yeah, it's not too bad. So I'm gonna take this off the stand of the tripod, my phone, and yeah, I'll take a look, see, I'll take a picture of it, see how it looks, because a lot of times you can't tell the imperfections until you actually take a picture, and the pictures, for some reason, I don't know if it's because it's 2D versus 3D, you'll be able to spot stuff that's to the naked eye you can't really see. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll get back to sanding this whole thing. Yeah, everything came out perfect. I even did a couple of things looked off, but I did measurements, and it's pretty damn clean. I think it's one of those things where you look at it and it starts looking off the longer you do it, kind of like the same way you get a word in your head, and then all of a sudden you have no idea what that even means. So I'm gonna send it with 60 grit because it's pretty rough. Get rid of this line over here, get rid of all this, whatever the signage is, and then probably go over with 120. And then I might just burn it because I can, and then spray paint it, and then kind of see how that comes out. If it comes out real neat, leave it alone, and if it comes out with something else, I'll go buy some blue paint and do it that way. So let's see. So this isn't strictly necessary, or correction, not necessary at all, but I have the tool and I haven't burned anything really for a while, so let's do that. Send this to Matt now and see what he wants to do with it. I say we should stain it with a blue stain, or maybe spray paint it with blue, and it'll actually show through with the wood burn, with the wood grain pattern. Or we can just go ahead and paint it solid color, but I think it'll be better stained. So worst case scenario, we can stain it, and then if that doesn't work out and it looks like shit, then we can go ahead and paint it solid color, and then it'll look great. So we'll see what happens. I spray painted one coat already because I forgot. I kind of rushed to do it and forgot about the camera. So, but I'm gonna do one more coat now. I'm pretty happy with the pattern, so we'll see what happens after the second coat here. So I think that's pretty cool. I like the gloss. Some of that is coming through. I don't want to overspray it because then it's, this is already getting lost a little bit. And what I'm gonna do now to do the real show Shugiban, or at least the tutorials I've seen on YouTube, is to go ahead and just cut some of this down with sandpaper, and that should pull back some of the wood grain and just see how that looks. And if it's messed up, well, we'll sort that out then. I'll just move the camera. Nah. So I think because it's a stain, not a stain, but a spray, I think it's not gonna clean up as well, so I'm just gonna hide the evidence of my shenanigans. And I think we're done here. The only thing I wanna do now is dry brush the corners, because otherwise it looks like it's missing just a little bit of something. So I'll dry brush the corners, we'll leave it like that, and then if we don't like it, we'll get some regular normal brush on paint and just cover the whole thing up. Final stage. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm still not sold on our zebra pattern over here. I think it's pretty cool, but we'll see what Matt says. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna spray all the sides black and the interior black as well, just to give it a little more of that pop of color, because I think it's missing just a little bit of that blackness, darkness. So let's see. I think that's that. The only thing I'm gonna do from here on is I already put the hook on. I already got this thing on the back, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and put a couple of spacers on it, so this way it'll hang about a 3/4 of an inch or so off the wall, so this way it'll look better, and it'll all be ready to go. Here we are. It's all pretty much finished. Got this crap. Yeah. It's all dark around the side. I think next up will be, it says Garage HQ. Hopefully it'll look pretty damn good in there.